You will fall in love with me. You will take me away from this place.
Full disclosure, news and commentary number 125, 125, 125, 125, 125. It was a huge weekend in national wrestling. Of course, Punk comes back, Becky Lynch comes back, Brock comes back, SummerSlam not as shitty as I thought it was going to be. Rampage was incredible moment, one of those history-making moments. And TakeOver, I mean, I got to see Walter wrestle. What do you want? Super great. I got in reports about all that stuff. I am writing tonight. I will finish my report, my written report about Pro Wrestling Action. And I wrote the article about Mickey Knuckles, and I hated it. So I started over, and I really like what I've written so far. I know that's frustrating for people because they want me to get stuff out right away. But if I'm not feeling it, if it's not high quality, I'm not going to put it out. What am I, a freaking indie? That was mean and unnecessary. Yeah, there wasn't a ton of local news, but nonetheless, we're going to have our full disclosure. And in fact, there's a term that comedians use. It's called emptying your notebook. If they're in the middle of a set and it's going really well, they'll just kind of like spew stuff out there. I've had stuff that I've kind of kept in reserve, including this idea. Well, you're just gonna see. You'll just see it. I've been putting up Patreon videos like crazy. I'm going to continue my opinions about WrestleMania series, about Kikaida. But more and more local news is sort of trickling in, so I'll put that in the Patreon as well. Got an unboxing to do. Always amazing. It's going to be hard to top last week's shirt. Last week's shirt, that platinum shirt that looked like the Pornhub logo, is ridiculous. But I will open this shirt, and you will see at the same time I will. 1, 2, 3. Boop. Whoa! Welcome to fabulous Bat Country, Rainbow Road. You got Mario and Luigi, as of course Hunter Thompson and his lawyer. Dope! People give me such great stuff. Yeah, the video game thing's picking up quite a bit. 1 week until I start jumping into Maneater Truth Quest, the new edition. It's bonkers. As anybody who's followed me on that stuff knows. Really, really cool. Really, really great. Let's jump into it. Got to talk about AWE at the Gaming Expo. Looks like they had a good crowd there, considering there weren't a ton of people at the Gaming Expo. Isn't that weird? Some events, like, in general, have a ton of people. I can't imagine what, we're coming up on a week and a half. And that Thursday, that first Thursday in September, you're going to have the Dragon Con Wrestling Show happening the same night as that show at Center Stage. Speaking of the show at Center Stage, we're going to have David Marquez as our guest on Tipping Point tomorrow night, Larry Goodman and I. And this week, I'm going to run a test for a podcast that I want to do. It's not wrestling related, which is weird because I don't really talk about wrestling. Just kidding. Like every day I do. But this is going to be a whole different thing. I'll let you know once everything's finalized and everything's good with that. So AWE, they have a show coming up September 19th. It looks like they're going balls out for it. Oh my gosh. And we're apparently going to have Logan Creed against Eddie Kingston. Jumping Jesus on a pogo stick, as a great commentator once said. Southern Fried, Not the biggest crowd, 175, but it's to be expected. You're running against SummerSlam. Well, don't do that. But they had to because it's their go home. And in 2 weeks, Crossroads, a group of us were discussing their poster, how it looked like a romance novel, which is absolutely true, and it looks great. Two things can be true, right? A War Games match that we're not calling a War Games match, 2 rings and a cage. Team Manders against Team Sexton for the whole kit, and also the caboodle. We'll see what kind of crowd they can draw for that. Hopefully a sizable one. Speaking of that, the Pro Wrestling Action show that I went to, they drew less than they did the first time, but it was still bananas and packed, and there was still more people standing than sitting. It was crazy. It was crazy, but you're going to get that report later on. That's the local wrestling of note to talk about. Southern Fried, by the way. 2. AWE. 9. I'll just leave it there. Is this me being slick? It's me being very slick. Very excited about the NWA going to be at the Chase. I have a special sort of affinity for wrestling at the Chase back in the day. People used to just get me those DVDs whenever they would find them, including Xavier Woods. I remember once gifted me a bunch of those Wrestling at the Chase DVDs because he knew what a thing I had for it. I've read every book. In fact, I'm looking at Wrestling at the Chase right there on my bookshelf. Wrestling at the Chase, of course, Brody did so much great stuff there. David Von Erich did great stuff. Harley Race, Dory Funk, on and on and on and on and on. All the people that wrestled great at the Chase. And the word is they are breaking the bank for these NWA shows. They're bringing in a crap ton of people. I mean, a number that I heard, and I don't believe, it just can't be, but the number that I heard was 135 wrestling people are going to be there. The fuck? Can that be right? Someone please confirm or deny that for me. So Billy Corrigan, I mean, despite all his rage, NWA obviously is not a group. I mean, I've never gotten numbers on what they draw on Fight TV and stuff. I don't imagine they make a profit. But they're going big for the 73rd anniversary. Ric Flair is going to be there for that bad boy. But I've heard Michael Judas. Is this true? Michael Judas will be there with Sinister Minister? Is that it? I am intrigued. I am very intrigued. And of course, the women's tournament, which Mickie James apparently has just gone fucking batshit crazy and just bringing in everybody under the sun. And now they're talking to Tessa Blanchard and all the rest of this. These are the things that I hear. We'll see how many of them come to fruition. I imagine all of them. Look at this dope shit. Look at it again.
Boom, motherfucker! I said, boom, motherfucker!
So cool. So cool. Here's another great video. This is from Viral. I just wanted to put over how great this looks, right? I was going to do this thing of I was just going to play it and then let people go like, oh my God, it's so horrible. It's a work, but it's a fucking great one. And I want to kind of highlight this thing, and then I'm going to jump right into the commentary because that's what we do. So let me show you the video. Timmy Retton doing his thing and how good this looks. And this is from a fan's perspective.
Is your winner and new Iowa Pro Wrestling Outbreak Champion, Win!
It's Christmas!
What the hell is your problem, dude? Damn. It's not just an ad. Shut the hell up. Yes. What the hell is your problem? Shut up!
Yeah, it says amazing. Man, you hate to see that.
Get away from me! Get away from me! Get away from me! Get away from me!
Oh my god. Oh, my body's
I thought it was fake at first because I walked over there and I looked at that computer.
Cool. Something else. Actually, before the commentary, I said I was going to empty my notebook, so we got memes to look at. Put them right here. My wall of simpery, as my kids call it. Look, we got Diana Michelle, Cherry, we got Candy Cannoli. All pictures given to me, and I'm happy about it. Let's put those memes up. Boop. Meme number 1. Mediocre conservative white men yelling, "I'm being silenced" with the megaphone, and literally everyone else being forced to listen. I just collect the wrestling memes that I find really amusing. Boop. Next one. When you want to take her to Suplex City, but you need to meet her parents first. Look at Brock. I like somebody sent me one of a picture of Brock with the new haircut next to Goro of Mortal Kombat. That one's also great. But these are old ones. I'm just basically clearing my docket here. The woman's name is Helena Cell. And somebody commented, "I still remember when Undertaker threw Mankind off you." Nicely done. Next one. Yes. I've been looking at the WrestleManias that I have on DVD, and as such, they always have that. How do you learn to fall off a 20-foot ladder? They always have that. Please do not try this at home, but giving the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Boop. Oh, that's so Raven. Look at him, looking all cute. By the way, you know who has the worst ideas in wrestling? Is it the WWE? Is it AEW? No, it is wrestling fans, because the theories I've heard kicked around lately are even worse than the ones wrestling fans usually have. My favorite terrible idea being they should bring in Raven to manage CM Punk. God, I hate wrestling fans. Next. Record scratch. Freeze frame. This is when Roman threw Dominic. Yep, that's me, Dominic, but you can call me Dom. I guess you're wondering how I got my ass into this situation. Oh my God, every BET movie that I watch has this scene. It's phenomenal. It's a great meme. Next, my parents in their 30s. This would make a lovely second home for our family to winter in. Hopefully, the garage can fit both our cars, snowmobile, and ski equipment. That's a parents in their 30s. Me in my 30s. Hell yeah, kill that motherfucker with the deathmatch thing. Oh my God, I'm in my 40s and this is my life. I know friends in their 50s and that's their life. All right, moving on. Just a reminder that steel horsing happened, and I was actually at that show. If you don't know what steel horsing is, I'll go into it at length on Patreon about the whole steel horse phenomenon and where those people are now that were involved in the steel horse incident. Moving on. And all time, I feel like you're not even trying with Stephanie McMahon in the frame. Boy. Glad that no longer applies. Next. Oh, this Three Stooges meme that they did with the exotic youth. I just thought this thing was really, really, really cool. Really cool. Boom. When Cactus Jack congratulates you and calls you ugly in the same sentence. So there's old Nikki. And the quote from Mick Foley. What a moment for anyone who was told they weren't good enough or athletic enough or attractive enough to follow their dreams. I'm so happy for Nikki Cross. Cactus tries. Next. And finally, this applies to wrestling, but really any comment section as of lately. Put on that hazmat suit, because it's going to get ugly. And now, our commentary. I was reminded of this because inevitably the comparisons came out as far as AEW and Rampage and the return of Punk and SummerSlam, with people debating which one's bigger, and then people who I'd seen shit talking AEW for the 2 years they've been around, just saying how shitty they were, now sort of going, can't we all just enjoy all wrestling? After I've watched these dickheads fucking try to rip AEW down forever, which is a sure sign of AEW's success. That, along with Cornette fucking finally kowtowing and admitting, like, oh yeah, shit was good. Like, great, right? But one thing that can't be denied is the experience that people had, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So if you went to go see Punk, there's a good chance you paid a premium price for that ticket, especially if you got it on the secondary market. Now, it was just on the rumor that he was going to be there. But they brought him out right away, made the show about that, and then Punk himself, by the way, it was Punk, not AEW, who bought everybody those ice cream bars, right? How was your experience? It was fantastic. You got to see Sting do his thing, Darby Allin. You got to have a pay-per-view set up. that you knew you were going to see Punk. Punk assured you that he's going to be there Wednesdays and Fridays and 4 Saturdays a year. Like, basically, like, Punk is like, I'm here and I'm excited about wrestling, and here we go. And everybody, I haven't seen a negative thing from anybody who attended that show, right? In fact, what I've seen is them selling the wrappers from the ice cream bars for $50 on fucking eBay. So I imagine that experience went really well. SummerSlam, it's an Allegiant, it's a new building, and people are going to say, like, oh, Steve's going to say the experience wasn't great. People couldn't buy anything. At times, they were giving away food at concessions because nobody could buy anything because it's cashless. But they couldn't buy shirts, they couldn't do concessions, and toilets were overflowing, a literal shit storm. Pyro couldn't be activated. So how's that experience? It's not great. Now, I go to shows all the time, and this is the part that I want to emphasize. There is having great wrestling, putting on a great wrestling show, and then having a great experience. And I think we often think doing great wrestling means you have a great wrestling show. No, it doesn't. Those things can be totally different things. You don't want them to be. You obviously want them to come together and work in lockstep. You want to feel as if you're not just watching a great wrestling show, but that you're rewarded for that, and it's going to translate into the future. TakeOver was a great show. But I'll tell you, if they change NXT around to the point where, okay, Walter and Dragunov, amazing. I love that. My favorite match that I saw over the weekend. But if nothing comes of that, right? And as much as I love that Walter match, I thought it actually kind of took away from the 2 out of 3 falls, and then the Samoa Joe match, because they were all in the same similar vein. Luckily, they put the comedy match first, so it didn't get buried in the midst of all that stuff. But it's one of the weaknesses of NXT. It is a great wrestling. It has great wrestling, and it has certain things set up that are wonderful. But obviously, as a show, it has not captured the imagination. And the experience of going there is the experience of going to the Performance Center and seeing a show, the same as them getting to be in front of a real crowd and getting to go to SummerSlam. No, right? So indie shows that I go to, it's one of the things I loved about pro wrestling action. The in-ring is okay. The show itself, I gave very high marks, except I think they missed out on one major thing, which I'm going to talk about in the report. But the experience is wonderful. I go in there. I know it's not going to be a sausage party show. You know how much I hate that. I'm going to see people there was a group of guys who were very vocal fans, and they stood right near me, and we had a good time yelling stuff, leading cheers, getting the crowd hyped. The food is great. The drink is great. The waitresses, the bartenders, the 2 women who bartenders fucking took care of me. I didn't have to worry about anything. My Shirley Temples were flowing. That's a great experience. I go to No Peace Underground. It's a great experience. It's in the freaking gutter. You're there in the sound bar. It's dark. It's brutal. You're this far away from the action. Glass is flying. People are yelling. You're surrounded by younger people. That's another thing at Pro Wrestling Action. It was like younger people going to this show, couples. There were families there too, of course, but it was cool. It was just a different vibe, a different energy. So that's the only thing I want to talk about in this commentary, because this is going to come up again. A lot of people are trying to match each other as far as the in-ring bell-to-bell stuff, right? You have groups like Action who do great wrestling. Right? And then you got, and then so other groups have stepped up the quality of the people that they bring in order to provide better bell-to-bell action. Southern Honor is a great example. Right? But then there's the show. Yeah. who's putting on the really great shows? I think in this regard, wrestling in the area around Georgia, Florida, I think they've really done a great job of presenting a better overall wrestling show. Stories, things that make sense, moments for crowds to not only get educated, but get excited and have an emotional attachment to what's going on and contributing to the shows instead of taking away from them. Get the fucking air horns out of these fans' hands, by the way. I'm just telling you. I'm telling Southern Fry this specifically. You let that air horn motherfucker or a megaphone motherfucker be there for your fucking war games, you're going to regret it. Saying. Get the air horns and the megaphones out of these fucking fans' hands. I don't get that at all. But I predict until the end of this year and the beginning of next year, the real contest is going to be which groups are providing the best experience. From the building, concessions, a whole bunch of things factor into this. The vibe, how the crowd is with each other, how the crowd feels like they're treated. Are they coming in watching a wrestling show and leaving? Or are they coming there a little early, taking it all in? Gimmick tables can factor into this too, but there's just a vibe. The shows that are the cool ones to be at. The ones where fans feel like I'm stepping into old home week and I'm welcoming other new fans here. And the vibe is just wonderful. And the boys actually like being there and the girls. Bell to bell. Okay. Wrestling show quality. Important. But let's see who gives the best experience overall when you go to their shows. This has been Full Disclosure.